Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Candid Convos with Evette Rawls. I am Evette Rawls, founder and creator of Teacher Coach Series. On today, I will be doing the last episode of the three-part series of virtual teaching. So teaching tips, survival guides. So in video number 1, I shared 2 tips, and in video number 2, I shared 2 tips. But on today, I am going to share a total of 5 tips that I've been using for the last 10 weeks in virtual teaching, in my virtual teaching experience, that have been very successful. So I'm not going to wait long. I'm going to jump right into this video and share these survival guide tips. As I've shared before, these are not the all-be-all tips. There's so many more out there, as we have seen and heard from so many other marvelous teachers that I've used too. And so I don't want you to think these are the all-be-all, but I want you to take these suggestions that I give you today, and I want you to apply them. I also want you to see if it's something that you can use when we go back into the building, if you're not already in face-to-face instruction or hybrid learning. These tips I've used face-to-face as well as during the virtual learning experience. So I wanted to share this to hopefully help encourage, empower, and equip teachers as we are all navigating through this new way of teaching. Again, this is a survival guide, some tips that I'm using every single day that have been very successful. Some of the success stories that I've had so far in this virtual learning experience, and I will be virtually teaching for, until January 25th. So I'll be going virtually. It's already been voted that we will continue to stay virtually until January 25th. So I am one of those teachers that have not had any face-to-face instruction. And I jokingly tell my boys, because I teach all boys, I say, if I saw you in Target, I wouldn't know who you were. Right? I get to see them on Zoom, and I get to see them, through the Zoom interactions, and we've had some wonderful times. But honestly, I wouldn't know who my boys were, which is that part that says, oh my gosh, that personable and one-on-one interaction, I truly miss. And so I'm just going to get right into these tips. And the first tip that I would like to share in this video is something that connects to what I shared with you about Google Slides. And I told you how important Google Slides were. I used this face-to-face instruction. It was the visual aid that I used and made sure that it was like the accountability piece for me and the students while we were in class, to stay on task, and also to teach certain strategies and content as we went throughout the lessons. And so Google Forms, also a part of the Google platform, it's something that I use every single day. So I use these links for attendance, for late assignment submissions, and so they have to submit the link or complete the form which I create, and then I submit the link to them, and they find these links on Canvas. Also, I'll just drop it inside of the Zoom chat if one of them is asking for it and they don't want to go to Canvas. I'll say, hey, the way that you request an assignment that is late, you do it through the form. And then also you have the attendance that they have to complete every single day. So as I talked to you about in video 2 about the power of a timer, and I use a timer every single day. 5 minutes before class start, I start the timer. I have on there whatever the bell ringer is that we're doing for that week. And then I have the timer go into the first 5 minutes of class for the students that may have trouble logging on, to give them that little bit of a cushion. During that time, the attendance link is also what I suggest that all the students complete. So I have that accountability piece of saying who is here for every block, not just first period, which first period is the only one that we're accountable as teachers to complete inside of our system. But I also want attendance for all my classes. So I completed a attendance form doc through Google, and then I just attached that link through Canvas. And I also do the late assignment submission. So if you ask for a late assignment, your name, the name of the assignment, when it was due, and then what day are you expecting or you are anticipating to turn it in. The power of these links is documentation. So every day, if you say, or you complete the link, then I know that you were here at school. So you get to say, I was here because I completed this attendance link, and for whatever reason you're marked absent. If you say, oh, I completed my late assignment, or I asked for the late assignment, I can go right to the Google Doc and say, oh, this student asked for it on this day, and this student asked for it during this time, or he came to me at 7:59 on a Friday night to ask for this late assignment, or ask for the documentation for this late assignment. So it's all there. So it's that documentation piece. The other piece that I want to share, which is also with the Google platform, is Google Drawings. Now, I am going to insert a video on this part of the of my virtual teaching tips, where I use Google Drawings every week. So Google Drawings, and I keep saying it because I want you to like understand that it's not something that you hear a lot if you're not familiar with it, but Google Drawings is what helped me create my Canvas. So even though my school district supplied a sandbox or a shell that we could use, it was certain buttons and certain links that I wanted to assign in my Canvas. I use Google Drawings. Now, the power of Google Drawings is I don't even have to go to Canvas to change an assignment or to change the weekly goals. I go into my Google search, I hit on my Google buttons, which is a folder that I've created with all of my Google Drawings, because once you create this button, you cannot change it. Or if you change it, it changes on Canvas too. If you delete it, it deletes off Canvas. So every week, instead of me going into Canvas and changing my weekly goals, which you can do that too, I go into my Google Drawings because I want to keep the image. I want to keep everything the way that it looks. And I change whatever the weekly goals on my Google Drawings or my Google button that I've created. And then I add everything in there. And by me doing it in Google Drawings, it automatically changes in Canvas without me even going into Canvas. It has been a game changer. And I'm going to show you in this video clip right here of what I do. The third tip, because we're moving right along, is, and isn't Google Drawing so amazing? Like, look at that. Like, I change it right in there, and the boys get to see it every week as it changes. I change the dates. I change what we're doing. I wanted you to look at how many assignments I actually give a week. One of the things that I found that has been really helpful for me, and not in a comparison way of looking at what's happening in another class and what happens in mine, what I notice is some of the boys, when they come to me, they tell me that they're stressed. And so I listen to them because I have daily check-ins. I will sit there and say, hey, how y'all doing? And I'll just stop and pause. And, you know, slowly they'll start answering. Then I'll ask something that maybe happened, current events, like, so during basketball season, I'll ask about basketball, or I'll say something about that's happening just in society, or that they relate to. A game, Among Us is very popular right now. And I'll just ask them, and they'll begin to talk, and they'll begin to share different things with me. And one of the things that the boys would tell me is how stressed they were with how many assignments that they had. I never wanted them to feel that way in ELA, because I'm trying to get them to a place where they fall back in love with reading. By the way, we're on our second novel right now. I'm so proud of my boys, and I will do a video that's not a part of this series that talks about how I get students to fall in love with reading again. I do teach on an all-boys team, 7th grade, and again, virtually, they're on their second novel that we will complete next week, their second novel, and so we'll go into our third novel. But moving on to that, we do daily check-ins. And so in those check-ins, I always ask them how they're doing. What can we do to make sure that we're at a place that all of us are creating success stories and we're at our best version? And one of the things they said was they were overwhelmed with work. So I made a point that I was only going to grade one thing a week, although they have assignments every single day. One thing a week was going into Power School because that's the platform that we use for grades, but they had assignments every single day. So if this week one of the assignments was from reading from iReady, then that iReady assignment was going to go into Power School. The next week, I'm not doing already. I'm going to do vocabulary.com, and then we'll do some vocabulary practice. And so every other week we had goals that we focus on. But you say, what are you doing the other 5 days? So I'll throw, we have reading days. So we'll have to read a certain number of chapters every week to stay on our task. But then also with the bell ringer, and then we use another platform called Study Sync as our online textbook. And whatever it is that I need to make sure that they're learning text-dependent strategies or close reading strategies, whatever it is, I always add that into whatever it is that we're doing. So if we're doing our novel, we're doing our novel, I'll make sure that we have those discussion questions, making sure that we're talking. So our last lessons is filled just like if we were face-to-face, but I don't overwhelm them with what will be graded. I have 100% participation. However, I have heard, and I know that some of my boys in their other classes have over 20 assignments. I don't have an opinion about it, but I do feel a certain type of way. The fourth strategy that I want to give you is how in my class, as you can hear lightly, you can hear this, I have music playing in the background. And I also have, because the boys see this direction on the Zoom, I also have a candle that's burning, so they see this side instead of the paper. I just set the tone. Even though it's virtually, we're learning virtually, I set the tone of our environment. And all of us, we know to do our backdrops and everything. I have the music playing because we use certain systems where we're able to watch their computers. And so when I share my screen, like a little light jazz is playing, cafe music, whatever you choose on your YouTube, from YouTube or whatever you may use as your music source, play that lightly in the background. And so just sets the tone for the class every single day. It has been amazing. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you is something that I use. And I don't know if your district has to purchase this themselves because it is something you have to pay for. But it's a way that you're able to observe the students as they are working. My district uses Dino, DYKNOW. And another district I was in, we use Crostini. I know some districts use Guardian, but I'm able to go in, I'm able to look at what the boys are doing. I am going to insert a video, and I'm able to write them messages, and I'm able to say, hey, keep going, or get on task, or stay focused. I don't really use the messages that they have inside of the system of Dino. They seem a bit forward. I am maybe a little bit more fluffy with my messages, so I come across with good job, keep going, I need you to focus. I didn't see a lot of those. They had different messages like attention, exclamation mark, get back to work, period. I don't like that. It's just too much. I'll say, hey guys, or hey, get back to what we're working on, or I just give the directions of what we're working on. And it's been so successful, guys. I am so happy with what has happened, and I know that this is a challenging time for all teachers as we're trying to navigate our way through something we've never done before. However, I am so proud of all the teachers that I've come in contact with that have contacted me through email or DM, on Instagram, Facebook, about the things that you guys have tried or using, and some of the strategies I shared with you, some of the strategies that you've been suggesting to me. These strategies that I'm giving you in these 3 videos for this series of virtual teaching tips, survival guide, they have really helped with this process, not only for me, but it's taken my boys to a place of still student accountability is always there, teacher accountability, but also the parents. They've even come and it's so detailed, it's so laid out because parents are able to go on Canvas and see what's there, and they know exactly what to do. They know what's expected every day of the week by looking at our weekly goals, and it's just made this process run a little bit more smoother. Although it's not the circumstances that we would hope for, it's not what we desire as teachers, it's not what we signed up for as teachers, but this has been a success for me, and I hope that you take these strategies and you use them and make this a success story for you. I'm always available for you. You can always contact me at teachercoachseries@gmail.com. You can contact me also on IG through DM, direct messaging. or you can email me and I'll email you back that way. But until the next time, until the next video, have a good one. Bye-bye.